When the sun starts to fade and the moon takes its place, he's won in the game with a smile on his face. Dead by daylight where the thrill's never done, hiding in plain sight, always on the run. Liam is Larry with a heart full of might, dancing through shadows in the dead of the night. He's a warrior, a player, and a Billy Joel fan, living his dreams with a sword in his hand. From piano man to uptown girl, Billy's tunes spin around in his world. With every note and every rhyme, Liam's heart beats in time. Through the alleys of a city or a digital realm, Liam's spirit's unwavering at the helm. He's got a rhythm, a blade, and a soul so free. In every song and every fight, he's where he wants to be. Liam is Larry with a heart full of might, dancing through shadows in the dead of the night. He's a warrior, a player, and a Billy Joel fan, living his dreams with a sword in his hand. So here's to the legend who stands tall and true, with a sword, a game, and a 2-on-2. Leon's the name that the world should know. In every fight and every song, his true colors show.
Okay. The auditing command here is, what did my finger just do? I'm not kidding. It says, what did my finger just do? Okay.
Welcome, everybody. Today's guest is Aryeh. Aryeh grew up in the United States and moved to Israel. Aryeh also has an interesting set of challenges he deals with and very interesting hobbies. So we're going to talk to him today about how things came up in his life, how he deals with them, and just what life is like for him. Aryeh Slider, welcome. How you doing this fine day?
Really enjoying that intro song, actually.
Oh my goodness. Yes, we were just talking backstage for a while. I'd like to welcome everybody to the chat. Rolling Stone.
I'm going to be back in 1 second to do something really quick that I regret not doing, and that's turning on an air conditioner.
Okay. Yes, it's amazing. I have to say that this whole YouTube, trying to get used to this whole YouTube thing has just been very interesting. It's as a new problem seems to come up every single time. And this time, of course, our program was copied to another instance. And yeah, but it all worked out. So yeah, so welcome. So Aryeh, you grew up in the U.S.
Yes, I did. Little town called Passaic, New Jersey.
Wow. Okay. What age did you wind up leaving to go to Israel?
I was 15 years old when my family moved here, my father and
Okay.
stepmother.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very interesting thing that happened. When I was 14, about 9 months before the move, my father and mother are actually in the same room. And I walk in getting called in. There's no argument, and I'm very confused. But my parents in the same room at this stage, not fighting. I'm not in trouble. And they sit me down and they're like, your father wants to move to Israel, but he doesn't want to do it while you're about to start high school. He didn't want to move away while you're still doing that. So here's your options. You can do high school here and your dad will move once you're done, or you can go with him and you can do high school in Israel. And as a kid being very bullied in middle school, I was like, you know what? There's a chance not to go to high school with those bullies. I'm going to start
Mm,
fresh.
sure. Yeah, and that's actually incredibly common. People to feel bullied in school. I mean, this is something that uh, even bullies I've noticed. Even people who were bullies, they felt bullied in high school. So it's a common experience, at least here in the States. I don't know if other places handle that differently. Is it beta? Uh, Body Illusion, of course. Jason P. Lacey Silver. How you guys doing? I hope I don't forget anybody, but if I do, of course, Chris and Melinda. Kristen Melinda's going to rule the world. She's Unchained. Yes, the whole 9 yards. Listening while I chase my kiddo. Okay. So I'm wondering, in school, while you were in the States, the the issues you have, were they starting to come up even then, or was it
Oh
much
yeah.
later that you
No,
started?
no. I was about the age of 8 or 9 or 7 or 8 already on a maximum adult dosage at the time of Ritalin for my
Wow.
severe ADHD.
Mm,
The depression hit when my parents got divorced when I was 11.
mm,
That's when I started sinking into a real depression.
mm.
Uh, but what evolved into bipolar only happened as an adult, or was only noticed as I was actually a full grown adult with a family already.
Hmm.
That was
Interesting.
here.
Okay. Okay. And then, so, wow. The whole Ritalin thing, is that something that Israel handles differently than the U.S., or is that?
Um, I didn't really have to deal with that because my parents, my father and mother, still had me on American medical insurance, and I saw an American psychiatrist whenever I visited my mother. So we just filled out my scripts in the States because it was at the time easier then. But at that point, I was switched to Concerta.
Okay.
So my parents didn't have to worry about making sure I took both doses every day.
Oh,
It was
okay.
also when Concerta was, I went on Concerta. I was the second patient. My family doctor put on the first person was my brother.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we were the first people she ever, best way to put it, we were experiments. It was
Oh
FDA
my,
approved. Let's give it to those boys. They're crazy.
oh my gosh! And of course, we were talking about this earlier. You have an extraordinary IQ, so that
Eh, it's high-ish, ish. It's
you have
not extraordinary.
you have a really good ability to absorb what you read. We've already seen. You and I were talking, and of course, you're also on Tara's meeting server on Discord. You've demonstrated really good memory. I wish I had that memory. The ability to retain all sorts of information is just fascinating to me. I do have to know, however, would you consider Pop Tarts ravioli?
Ooh, they kind of are, aren't they? They kind of are, but if the culinary man in me would actually think about it, I'd say no, because ravioli literally needs to be a pasta pastry with a
Hmm.
stuffing.
Hmm.
And is raviolo a ravioli? Is like we I'm not I'm a foodie too, so there's that.
Carry on. How you doing, Flick Fox? Good morning. Yes, and if anybody has any questions, please put QQQ in front so you'll stand out because I'm blind. I'm old. Um, I also have I have ADD, so yeah, I tend to scroll off all sorts of interesting places. Ah, so you moved
Wait, there are
to
no squirrels here.
so you moved to Israel. How much of a culture shock was that for you?
It was a culture shock.
Hmm.
It was a big culture shock. Uh, things are quite different here. Most kids, even when I moved here in 2003, if you're 9, 10, you have a cell phone,
Hmm.
emergency calls.
Oh,
It was what it was.
yeah.
That was 2003 in Israel. Everyone
Hmm.
had a cell phone. I
Hmm.
came to Israel. I got my first cell phone. I was 15, but
Hmm.
beside that everything is different. You have to learn a new language. I got thrown out of. I actually got 2 months into what's the word? Not indoctrination. What's the word? Where do I live? I live in a city called Beit Shemesh. It's between Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. It's Central Plains area of the country.
Hmm.
It's a very nice place. But I got thrown out of the school where they like teach you about the culture and they teach you the language. I
Oh.
ditched an entire day of school. I ditched, and I was also a little troublemaker. I decided if someone was going to bully me, I'd bully them right back at that point because I'd been fed up with bullies as a kid when I was in the
Hmm.
States, and I said no one's going to bully me. When I got here, got bullied a little bit at that school, and then said it wasn't going to happen, and I just avoided classes, didn't care. So they threw me out of that, and then I got thrown right into the frying pan, straight into high school, not knowing the
Wow.
language or anything.
Whoa. Wow.
It's
That
not
would be.
really Hebrew school, Lacey. Ulpan is more of, they don't just teach you the language, they teach you a lot of the culture.
That's interesting. That I can see that as actually being a really super good thing. And of course, we don't really do that in the States so much. I mean, you give you a civics class. I don't think they even do that anymore. Uh, yeah, so you
Even
learn.
my father and stepmother went to Ulpan to learn, to get their grasp on the language at least properly and learn a bit
Hmm.
about the culture.
How was adapting to the language for you? I mean, obviously you've done it, or
I
is
was lucky I was 15, so
hmm,
my language barriers weren't fully, like, the ability to learn languages were still there, even though I had language issues even with English as a kid. My writing is still chicken scratch now. My spelling is horrible. I am dyslexic.
hmm, wow. Is math now with the dyslexia? Of course, it manifests differently for different people. Do you have the issue with math of not being able to write numbers correctly or in order? I guess.
Sometimes
Interesting.
math was never my strong suit. You give me short math, sure,
Interesting. Okay.
I can do it in an instant, but
Mm-hmm.
anything complicated, my brain's like, no.
That is, and that's something I've been digging into lately with different people is how dyslexia. I think it's one of these things that popular culture we think it's one thing, but in fact it's much more prevalent, or it manifests a lot differently than a lot of people think. I mean, some people can't even, and I was amazed to find out some people can't even drive because of dyslexia. It's like, wow. I mean, how
Yeah.
does that work?
Uh, it's really funny when I was younger, my brother used to drive me to school, middle school, when we were still in the States.
Mhm.
He'd sometimes sit at the wheel like this when he was getting to turns. He's also dyslexic, to remind himself if he had to turn left, which the way
Oh,
was left.
mm,
I used to have issues like that.
wow.
Eventually,
You were able to sort your brain out of that?
yeah,
Interesting. That is,
eventually you can sort your brain out of that.
mm,
Dyslexia, people don't realize, depending on its severity, it could be trained away.
wow. Okay.
You can work on it and train around it.
Mm, wow. I was born in Princeton, New Jersey. Wow. Okay.
Something really funny about Hebrew, my Hebrew handwriting is fucking gorgeous.
Hmm.
My regular Hebrew handwriting is beautiful. It's because the way your brain sometimes picks up like new languages at certain ages. It's more like you're copying someone's drawing rather than
Mm,
letters. Can I
yeah.
spell in Hebrew? No. I can't spell to save my life in anything.
This
God.
Hebrew is a very interesting looking character set that they have. It's fascinating to me. But and wow, I just thought about the dyslexia, Hebrew being backwards of English. I mean, people think it's read, left to right. No, it's wow. That is
Right to
awesome.
left. It is right to left, but you still do math left to right. You get confused sometimes as a kid. It was fun.
Hmm.
It was fun.
I didn't even think about the whole math thing being wow. Oh man, I never even gave that a second thought. Oh wow, that would be. Jeez.
Lacey,
Yeah.
I could barely write Hebrew because I write like garbage. It looks pretty. My grammar's horrible, but my understanding and speaking of it is much better than my writing. Much better.
Hmm, that's
But
cool.
I've lived here for now 20 years, so
Okay. Yeah, that oh wow. Man, did you find that you made friends quickly?
I did. I
Good.
made
I see
several
that.
friends that actually, if it wasn't for one of those friends, I that's how I met my second wife, my current wife, my beautiful
Wow.
wife. Um, I met her. I was introduced to her by the first friend I ever made in the country.
Hmm.
A year after I was separated and divorced from my wife, my first wife, I go to a wine festival. I finally was like, you know what? I'm going out by myself. I'm going to a
Mm.
wine festival. I'll run into somebody I know there. Maybe I'll try and talk to somebody. Who knows
Mm.
what's gonna happen? I run into my friend who's at there every year. I just didn't know he'd be there that day.
Mm.
And the whole thing is he's like, I don't know if you're right for her, but we'll ask her sister. He's my brother-in-law now.
Mm. Okay.
That he was, and she's like, no, he's perfect for her. I got her cell phone number that day. We talked the next day for the first time, 8 hours on the cell phone.
Mm.
8 hours straight, just talking. Next day, 8 hours. Next week, we met up for the first time, spent 6 hours just walking around Jerusalem together. Okay, I haven't played bass in like 7 years, Matrix. It's been a bit. I play whenever I can, but the bass I have here has a cracked headstock, crack right where the headstock meets the neck. So
Mm.
it buzzes like no tomorrow.
Mm. That's so interesting. That has to be wow. I mean, I'm just seeing the comments. Talking Lacey Silver talking about the Israeli people, how open they are. And then you juxtapose that New Jersey. I mean, wow. Yeah.
People think New Yorkers can have a chip on their shoulder. Yeah, sure. Hang around a bunch of Israelis. Um, People like what's
Oh.
driving like in this country. I don't have a driver's license, but everyone I know describes it like, oh, look, I'm in Manhattan and it's Sunday morning.
How did you find schools being there in Israel versus U.S.?
Harder.
Really? Okay. Oh, yeah.
Um,
Okay.
I was already in a Jewish private school in the States.
Mm-hmm.
The average kid who's in ninth, 10th grade at a Jewish private school will could pass their GEDs in the 80th, 90th percentile.
Mm. Okay.
That's also general for a lot of private schools in the States back then when I
Mm.
was younger. Here, I got here and I was like, okay, this stuff's more advanced than I was expecting.
Mm.
I was a little behind, but I was never a studious school kid in
Mm.
general. I didn't really spend much time in school. High school was mostly spent me finding ways to sneak out
Mm.
and the security guard not seeing me.
Makes That makes sense, really. I mean, I would expect that more in probably if you had spent longer in the U.S. I imagine you'd be more bored, so that behavior would probably be much more amplified here.
No, because if I was in the States, I would have joined the hockey team on whatever high school I went
Oh.
to. I would have played foot hockey for whatever
Mm.
private Jewish private school I would have been sent to.
Mm. No hockey in Israel.
No, not
Okay.
not
Yeah.
really, not easily.
Mm,
Soccer and basketball are big here.
okay.
Or yeah, calling it soccer hurts my soul nowadays. I've lived here so long. Ow.
Oh my. So obviously, you were used to the ADHD manifesting itself. OCD, did that come up for you? Oh, okay.
I have, I'm not diagnosed with obsessive compulsive disorder. I have very OCD tendencies.
Okay.
Depending on how bad my bipolar gets, it can drive compulsions. Like,
Hmm.
I used to be a very heavy cigarette smoker. When I'd clean my ashtrays out, if I got any of the residue on my hands, I once had my friend, I literally was scrubbing my hands raw. I,
Hmm.
but it was never properly diagnosed as obsessive compulsive. I have a lot of tendencies, but then again, that can come with having both ADHD, bipolar disorder. You,
Hmm.
things manifest very differently.
Sure. Yeah. And when were you diagnosed with bipolar? Was that here in the States or?
No, that was here.
Okay.
So I give me a minute. The bipolar diagnosis was about a year and a half before 2 years before my mother passed away, 10 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Nine,
Okay.
10 years ago, I was diagnosed. So my mid 20s.
Hmm. Mhm.
Um, it was, it wasn't a shock. It felt right. The doctors kind of said,
Hmm.
you were misdiagnosed probably when you were even younger. It just wasn't noticed.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, I was actually on two uppers at the time
Hmm.
instead of instead of a mood stabilizer,
Oh boy.
and
Hmm.
that was wreaking havoc.
Yeah. I bet. Yeah. It's probably putting salt on something that's already salty. I mean, it's just amplifies it so much. Wow. That is, my gosh. And it's interesting though how you knew it felt right. How how you kind of know how this stuff.
I'm lucky. I have the fun kind of bipolar. I'm hypomanic,
Hmm.
so I'm type 2, so I can't go full mania.
Oh, okay.
Only partial. Yay. But that's better for my own set. Better, but the depression can get pretty bad at times. It can
Hmm.
get really bad. That crippling depression, that feeling like it's just nothing is
Hmm.
right and everything is wrong. And
Oh yeah, yeah. Wow, that is, and of course, it's not at all surprising given what we know about people with higher IQ that they're misdiagnosed, like misdiagnosed, underdiagnosed, whatever term you want to use. It's very common to not see the actual issue because it manifests so differently in people with a higher IQs. That is, wow, goodness gracious. So ADHD and bipolar disorder. My gosh. How does how does your day to day life look? I mean, how do I say this without it sounding so? What do you think? What goes on in your head when you're most? I don't want to use the word triggered. That is not a good
no,
term.
when I'm at my worst,
Yeah. Okay. I'll just say that. That
yeah,
one.
that's a fine. That when I'm at my worst, one, I say this to everyone. When anyone asks, "Do you think about killing yourself?" Like that type of stuff, I'm like, no.
Hmm.
That thought may enter my mind, but it's more of a thought is, would life be easier without me? Never
Hmm.
what would happen because that kind of thought, there's too much to live for.
Hmm.
I've also literally seen the ramifications of what happens to families when that happens. Growing up,
Oh.
we had a neighbor who did that type of thing, and my
Hmm.
mother literally was a PA. My mother was a physician's assistant,
Hmm.
and our neighbor came calling her to come and help. I've literally seen the ramifications of what happens
Hmm.
in those situations, and even at my worst, will I think about it? Maybe. Will I ever act on it?
Hmm.
No.
Sure.
On my worst days, my wife knows to give me my space. My dog's usually following me wherever I go.
Hmm.
She won't leave me alone at
Hmm.
all. Um,
Okay.
but on my worst days, I actually pick up the phone, usually message my ex-wife asking to talk to my daughter.
Hmm.
Nowadays, I give my baby boy, my son, a hug,
Hmm.
even if I'm feeling very depressed. I have, no matter how bad it is, there is just too much good for me to let it destroy me.
That's very good outlook. That
There's
wow.
just there's no choice. On my
Hmm.
worst of days, yeah, I could be having anxiety attacks constantly. And that in itself is the most crippling thing, is my anxiety attacks. I can't, if I'm having a bad day and me and my wife are out shopping, we both know that there's a chance while we're at a supermarket, I'm gonna be sitting on the floor needing to breathe and being left alone.
Hmm. Okay. So I mean, I guess in for people with autism, they call that a meltdown. Is there an equivalent in your world? You think, or
It's not really a meltdown. It's
hmm.
just a hard anxiety attack that just
Hmm.
it's just too much. So I just need to sit and take a deep breath. So
Sure.
I'm not one of those people where you'll find rocking in a corner.
Oh, okay.
What
Yes.
people think of panic attacks and anxiety attacks, it's more of the hard, can't breathe, can't
Yes.
think. But then you just practice your 4, 6, 8 breathing or whatever you call it. You
Hmm.
find the things to touch, smell, see.
Hmm. Yeah. So.
You have your ways to work around it. If you have panic attacks, you usually have your little tricks. My favorite trick will always be
Mhm.
counting to 10 and then trying to reach just counting out of order. Get
Wow.
to 10 and then just try and force myself to count 200, 110, 150,
Interesting.
72. You're forcing your brain to work out of the
Yeah.
anxiety, and you're just forcing the situation to focus and bring things
Hmm.
into focus.
That's an interesting method because yeah, I mean, I'm used to people who teach, try to do math and try to do that to get the thinking brain. But yeah, something as simple as counting out of order because you're avoiding that habitual 101, 102, 103. There's nothing habitual about going, 200, 150, 117, 345, things like that. So, wow.
Hike.
That took me a second. Martial arts. So, when did you find yourself getting involved in that?
Not long after I moved here, I
Oh,
made a
okay.
friend, and me and him started practicing together. And then I
Mm,
started picking up whatever book I could, because
mm,
didn't have the money to go to martial arts classes or whatever. Things like
okay.
that aren't cheap anywhere. Um, and I just became very obsessed. Two people actually called it two friends of mine back then even called it an unhealthy obsession, and it really
Oh,
was. I became maniacally focused on learning whatever I could, however I could, go to a dojo for the free lesson and end up in those. So you're supposed to do this and this, and then I know I punch a guy in the face while he's wearing a padded helmet and he drops to the ground, and I'm like, but what happens if I do that? Um, it stemmed from the fact that I was bullied, and I promised it would never really happen again.
sure. Yeah. Yeah, that is a very creative outlet. And do you find it helps calm your mind?
Yes, it is. It's so weird. Martial arts and specifically sword fighting is my happy place.
Mm.
It's I am most at peace if I'm training. If I'm
Interesting.
sparring with a friend,
Yeah.
if we're crossing blades, I am more at peace than I am any other time.
Mm.
It's a time where I can focus and nothing else matters. It's just
Mm.
that moment. If I
Yeah.
have rage, it goes away. If I have
Mm.
anxiety, it disappears. Uh,
Mm.
Martial arts were very much my happy place,
That is.
especially when I picked it up and started teaching my friends, my very close friends, how to defend themselves better. And then we all got into sword fighting, and then that
Mm.
became a different monster of its own.
Mm.
We
That
would do
is.
it every weekend. Every Saturday night, we'd meet up and train. And
Mm.
it was, honestly, God, some of the happy, besides having it, I was always happy doing that.
Mm.
Playing video games with my friends. We go out, we start training with our swords, and that was, yeah, pure serenity.
Mm. And of course, it's a lifestyle too. It's not just a hobby. I mean, it's something
Oh,
you're
yeah.
always prepared. Wow.
You
And
take
that.
care of yourself. Yeah, you take care of yourself differently when you're fighting regular, when you're training like that regularly. You eat differently when you're training like that regularly.
Mm. Always aware, and yeah, and that was one of the things that somebody who's in who's considered to be not uh, not stupid in music is a seal, and he talks about the only time that he cannot hear music in his head is after he's climbed a mountain. So it's that physical, yeah, physical surrender. I mean, of course, that's not the same as martial arts, and I'm not saying it is, but it's still something physical that you do just to reach
Yep.
a happy place. That is really interesting. What so yeah, ADHD, and what do you find works with that? How do you have any cheats?
For ADHD, I just learned to live with it and accept
Mm.
it and take advantage of the fact that I can become so hyper focused on one thing, or I can become focused on a bunch of things at once. I'm the
Mm.
type of guy who will have video playing on one computer, be playing an Xbox game on my TV, and in a Discord conversation with a dozen people. That's I love being able to do that and actually being able to focus on everything that's going on around me and
Wow.
not be distracted by the YouTube video or the Discord call or the video game and being able to just focus on it all.
Mm. Wow. Yeah, and man, I wish I could do that. But yeah, and it seems like it makes sense that the martial arts would go along so well with that. You'd be kind of amplify your focus, and oh, interesting,
One of the
man.
most important things I actually always said is you cannot just be focused on the fight at hand. You actually, like, if you end up in a street fight, everything around you has to be in focus. You can't
Mm-hmm.
have tunnel vision.
Oh
You
yeah,
can't.
yeah. Trying to
Because
get.
if you become tunnel vision, let's say they have a buddy that's walking by,
Mm,
you're gonna get knocked in the back of the head because you're only focused on the person in front of you and not the fact that, oh crap, he has friends nearby.
mm. Yeah, it's part of one of the big differences between street fighting and something like martial arts. Street fighting, you just get in and you're just just sheer anger, uh, unfocused energy, just you know just energy that way. Versus
Body
martial arts.
illusion. One thing I have to say about that is if I have to sit and read something, the only thing that can be going on is a piece of music in my ears directly. Otherwise, I can't focus. If I'm sitting and
Hmm.
reading, that's when issues pop up. That's when I could have major distraction problems, is if I have to, sit and read.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
also
That.
a dyslexia thing. I have to very focus on what I'm reading in front of me.
Mm, wow, interesting. Um, wow, that's so AD. Bipolar. how do you keep those? I mean, I guess it might have something to do with the time at which you were the different times that you were diagnosed. Oh, stupid notifications! I hate seeing those. Um, that's part of my ADHD. No, gotta get rid of it. Gotta get rid of it. Gotta get rid of it. But uh, do you find yourself to be a visual learner or auditory or kinesthetic? I bet you're probably kinesthetic, but I don't know. I mean, as far as you have to be doing something to learn, do you find? Okay.
Kinesthetic. I can learn
Hmm.
from watching it. Like that's how I learned how to fight. I
Hmm.
can learn from
Oh,
watching things as well. I can learn from
okay.
doing. I love learning from doing things. That's the
Hmm.
easiest way to learn. But if I'm watching somebody do something and I just watch them do it 3, 4, 5 times, that's how I learned how to fight.
Hmm.
And then I just practice it over and over and over. As I said, in my own maniacal focus on that one thing. That's how I picked up sword fighting.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. It's a weird adrenaline and dopamine hit to get to process and act at the same time. Yeah, I imagine. Of course, martial arts would be full of that. Let's see what we got here. I'd have to get some multitask, hard to sit down and focus on just one thing. I, when I was a kid, yeah, but not so much now. Martial arts
Mm.
is amazing. My daughter's both third dan and in Taekwondo, and both work part time.
How old are the kids that they're both third dan black belts?
Wow.
Though that's that people do say in Taekwondo, third dan is where the real difficulties truly begin, and that's where it becomes the true form of what Taekwondo truly is once you reach
Hmm.
third dan, that's where the next level truly begins. Then again, I
Oh.
do suggest to everyone if you're gonna learn a martial art and you're gonna start your kids somewhere, Taekwondo is the best place to start. I
Hmm.
will say this to everyone. I'm not professionally taught. I would be corrected when I go to, as I said, I would go to dojos. And when I
Hmm.
became more adult, I just asked for corrections from people that I knew were actually trained.
Hmm.
But yeah, Taekwondo is, I would say to anyone who ever wants to get into martial arts as an adult,
Hmm.
Taekwondo is a great place to start. But
Hmm.
if you have a place to learn actual MMA, again, you need a basis. Taekwondo is a great basis for just about anything.
Hmm.
Jiu-Jitsu is also a great place to start.
Wow. I wouldn't have expected that with you saying about jujitsu. Wow. That's interesting.
Jiu-Jitsu, BBJ,
Hmm.
always good. Well, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is of course a great place. If you have a good place to study and it's not strip mall Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu,
Hmm.
because at most major forms of martial arts become what they call strip mall karate,
Hmm.
and that's
Sure.
when you lose what it truly is.
Hmm. Sure.
Nothing's like an American coming here. It's like I learned Krav Maga, and then you're like, no, you didn't. You learned strip mall Krav Maga.
I do. I mean, I'm obviously not in that environment, but I do love the some of the ways you talk about those things, and yeah, even as an outsider, you could spot some of that. Outsider looking in, you can still spot some. I kind of embrace the bipolar, or at least it's part of who I am. It's how my brain works. Sometimes it sucks, but it's so much better without drinking. Self acceptance is also huge. Oh yeah, I
Oh
bet.
yeah. Uh, Drinking while having a bad day with bipolar can be a very slippery slope, even if you don't have a drinking problem. It will
Mm.
become a problem very fast.
Since
Uh,
the since the whole issue of martial arts has been coming up over and over again, this is a squirrel trail, but I
let's
have to
go.
ask Steven Seagal.
It's a joke.
He just popped in my.
If he would ever grab an actual trained martial artist by their hand the way he does, all they do is step into him and then to the throat.
Mm.
It's not hard. What he does and the way he puts it on, it's okay. Sure, cool. Look at me. No, no. Steven Seagal is a joke.
Mm.
I have no problem with saying that at all.
Yeah, you're probably the only person I could talk to about Steven Seagal with. Instead of feral, angry hobbit advanced to gremlin. Okay, wow. Oh, okay. So, ADD, ADHD, bipolar. Okay. Martial arts. Okay. Billy Joel. Billy Joel.
I grew up listening to a lot of Billy Joel. My mother, may she rest in peace, was a huge Billy Joel fan.
Hmm.
Grew up listening to the vinyls, cassette tapes. She had every single CD. She had them all on vinyl.
Hmm.
I grew up. I know most of. If I'm listening to a Billy Joel song, there are very few I can't sing along with.
Hmm. Yeah, so part of that, I guess, home memories and things like that. And you find, of course, and I guess we've already kind of touched on this a little bit. Music helps calm you.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I love music. I love to sing. I sing to my wife actually almost every day.
Mm.
It's one of
Wow.
those things I like to do for her. I always sing her some love song or another.
Okay. Well, there goes that question. When was the last time you were singing um, Jackie Chan?
Jackie Chan is awesome, but he was originally not a martial artist. He was originally an acting student.
Oh,
And he
wow.
learned a lot of it from acting. Yes, he studied martial arts like a lot of people from where he's from are forced to,
Mm.
or eventually it's mandatory in school. A lot of people. But Jackie Chan's also a stunt genius.
Mm.
The man can take a hit like no other.
Mm. Yeah, I forgot about him being of course, yeah, he always ends his films with all of his injuries, and or not always, but yeah, he tends
He
to.
he should not be alive. I once actually watched a video about his stunt team and him, and they were literally saying, if you're a member of the Jackie Chan stunt team, understand your marriage it can end because of it. You're what like these guys have lost marriages working for him. We don't like the work. It's too much. It's like you're getting that hurt for just to that would be the dream for anybody, like any stuntman. That's probably like the dream. Getting invited to the Jackie Chan stunt team is amazing.
And
No,
then
you
all
want
the
to talk an
associated.
actor who can fight?
Hmm. Hmm.
My brain just blanked on his name. My brain just blanked on his name, and I don't like that. Donnie Yen.
Hmm.
Now there is an actor who doesn't just fight, even during filming. The stunt fighters he's fighting against, the stuntmen and the actors all know Donnie doesn't hold punches. He doesn't hold kicks usually. You're going to get hit. It is going to hurt. It was like working with Donnie was like working with Bruce Lee. You're gonna get hurt. You're gonna get hit, and it's gonna be nice. It's gonna
so
look
you're
great.
so you're seriously getting your ass whooped
Oh
on
yeah.
film. Oh my! Well, it makes sense to do. I mean, yeah, because it's one of those things. Even from the outside, it's a lot of times it can be easy to spot how much energy is going into a punch and things like that. And I mean, of course, yeah, granted, a lot of times they pull punches, so it looks like they're slightly a little bit off, but yeah, it's kind of hard to fake some things sometimes. And yeah, it'd be interesting to. Wow. Oh man, that just
It's not that Jackie doesn't get insurance. It's his stunt company. He is the insurance company for his people practically at this point.
oh
Okay, Wing Chun is cute. By itself, it is pointless. It's fun. It's good style to learn. It's not practical
Mm,
by itself. It
mm,
really isn't. Can it be taken to the next level if you start adding on top of it and going next to the next to the next? Yes. But that's exactly what Bruce Lee did. He learned Wing Chun from Ip Man and then became Bruce Lee. But then again, Bruce Lee was never actually in any official tournaments.
really?
There are very few real fights Bruce Lee was ever truly in that people know of, and very few witnesses to his actual fights, except his students sparring with him.
I did not know that.
There's very little footage of Bruce Lee actually going one-on-one with people in a real fight. Mostly demonstrations where, yeah, he proves he can kick and hit so goddamn hard with explosive power not seen
Mm,
by many beforehand. But
mm, wow. Okay. So, like with many people, and I find music's the same way. Does this is kind of interesting. Uh, somebody with empathy, I mean, we're affected by music deeply. Are you affected by the energy of music? I mean, if you listen to something that's blood pumping, is it hard for you to go to sleep? Or
depends on the day, to be honest.
okay,
That depends on the day.
hmm. But it is interesting that you see that come up, the issue of music come up for so many people with ADHD and different problems, that it helps chew up a few of those extra brain cycles just to give the brain something else to focus on. Okay, fine. Martial arts, Billy Joel, um, ADHD, uh, bipolar, Twitch streamer, Dead by Daylight. I'm not seeing the string here. So, how did you get involved in that?
A friend of mine got me into the game
Hmm.
because it was a fun game we could play as a group of friends if we wanted to, and I fell in love with it, and
Hmm.
then eventually, only recently, started streaming a little bit here and there.
Hmm. Now, do you find that to be relaxing for you?
Yeah. I'm
Hmm.
one of the few people I think who truly finds DBD a fun time and don't get angry at pixels on a screen. God, if you ever want to see people get angry at pixels on a fucking computer screen, play Dead by Daylight and just put someone on a hook and stare at them just stare at them. Just don't do anything else. Just camp the hook. See the comments that flow at the end of the game.
Hmm.
Ugh.
Yeah,
But
and that
yes, I take those negative comments like more. Give me more.
and of course that is something that would seem to go along with a martial arts mindset of not letting, somebody, having a temper tantrum, let it,
It's not worth
take
it.
you down there. Yeah.
It's a game.
Hmm.
And Dead by Daylight's supposed to be a party game for the most part. It's not really a competitive video game. Yeah, there's a competitive scene, but
Hmm.
eh, why?
Yeah,
But
that's
why?
that is pretty cool though. That yes, of being able to practice that. Because yeah, I've watched your stream quite a few times. Dead by Daylight's much more graphic, or yeah, putting people on hooks. I didn't know.
It's an asymmetrical horror game.
Yeah.
It's 1v4. You have four people trying to survive and one man trying to kill all four of them.
Yeah, and then
I'm what people call a killer main. If I'm playing and I'm not with friends, I'm not really playing Survivor. I'm gonna be playing a killer,
hmm,
and it's fun. I actually find it fun. I find it relaxing. If I'm having a bad day, Dead by Daylight's one of my favorite things to do.
hmm. Do you listen? Oh,
Because I just get to go in and it's like, okay, I'm having a bad day. I now get to stab people. Let's go. My bad day has now become your nightmare. But this way I don't get arrested for it.
oh, it's wearing the opponent out component. Interesting. Um, so do you listen much to like meditative, no lyrics, meditative, calming music, or is it mainly Billy Joel
I,
stuff with lyrics?
it depends on the day.
Oh, okay.
Mostly I'm listening to very lyric heavy music.
Hmm.
Uh, then there are days where you'll just have music that was written in the 1800s in the background, and
Hmm.
I'm just listening to that for hours on end.
Interesting. Wow. 1800s. So you're talking classical, Baroque, and stuff like that. Wow. Okay. I I, I did not expect that. Meditation, meditation rather.
I don't meditate as much as I used to.
Again, I was wondering, especially given the set of characteristics that I'll call them characteristics that you've been given, if that was probably a battle for you to silence.
When I'm So for me, martial arts is a form of meditation.
Okay, yeah, I can see that
I
based
get
on your
to,
earlier
as I say,
comments.
I reach true inner peace when I'm training.
Hmm.
But also before I start training, one of the things I would do is I would just sit down for 5 minutes, close my eyes, and just breathe
Hmm.
and center myself. Because also when training, I would never train truly angry. If I
Hmm.
knew I was truly angry, I'd be sitting at the sidelines and teaching majority of the training session instead of actually training. I'd be guiding. I wouldn't sit and
Hmm.
get involved because let's say someone messes up and or I make a mistake. I get hit.
Hmm.
And
Sure.
then if I'm angry and then I take a hit, I'm already angry.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Because this is one question that was there any food that you could get here easily in the U.S. that you're finding you can't get in Israel?
Nowadays it's not the same. But when I got here, it was much different. Yeah, there were a lot of things that were hard. You have to look for them. You have to go
Hmm.
out of your way to find certain things. But again,
Hmm.
I also keep kosher. So it's just like most of the things I eat there, I can eat here.
Hmm. Okay.
It's just a matter of I gotta look for American foods. I gotta look for it.
Hmm. I gotta ask. I could have web searched for this. I wish I had because it would have been interesting to see. That's one of the things I like to do with people in foreign countries is compare menus of. I'm going to get slapped for this. Menus of McDonald's. Have you?
Our menu at McDonald's makes yours look like child's play.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah. No.
menu, American McDonald's is ick and gross and disgusting. Israeli McDonald's is also kind of ick and gross, but it's much better than American McDonald's. When they say the burger has rib, it's a rib burger. It's made with rib meat in it. Maybe
Hmm.
not 100%, but it's made with rib meat inside of it.
Hmm.
We get burgers that you damn sure don't get in the States.
Hmm.
We
Yeah.
get a lot of different things you don't get there.
Yeah. I found that even with the Netherlands that they of course have so much better choices and this and that. And it's like, well, I guess there's something a lot of it to do with the standard American diet.
Well, also the burgers have to contend with other decent burgers. Even if our fast food, we have other fast food burger joints that are much better than McDonald's that are worth going to that cost about the same price. It's just slightly above fast food McDonald's level.
Hmm. Wow.
But it's just that level above that costs almost the same amount. You're waiting just a few minutes longer. So it's not fast food, but they have to contend with better food.
Mm.
Also, like Israeli fast food is shawarma or falafel. That's one of the go-to fast foods in this country. Everyone loves their shawarma here. Everyone loves their
Mm.
falafel. You can't walk into a mall and there not be 2 shawarma places.
Hmm. So how
Ooh,
long
now
have
I
you?
want shawarma. Damn.
I don't even. I couldn't even say it. I hate to think of what it would be spelled like. SCH.
S
Oh,
H M Schwarm W. I
oh
know
my.
there's a W at the beginning. Schwa S H W. I've heard M. My brain. Nope. I'm spelling here now. My brain's about to snap.
Oh,
Nope.
well, SCHW something. Just throw a bunch of letters on there. Boom. They're good.
Throw letters at a wall. There's the spelling. Oh, Israeli food is amazing, but that's just it's a lot of Middle Eastern food. I love Middle Eastern food.
Hmm. How many kids do you have anyway?
2.
Okay.
One from my first marriage. She's 8 years old, a little Spitfire, and then my 3-month-old baby boy, who is
Hmm.
passed out right now, sleeping, and so is mommy.
How long have you been? How did you meet or how long have you been with your current wife?
5 years. Been
Okay.
together 5 years. 5 years. 6 years. It's all because Corona was part of that. It's all smushed together.
That did screw a lot of people up. Oh, there we go. There's somebody who
That's shawarma. That's the SCHWARMA. There you go. That's shawarma. As as we said, throw some letters at the wall. You'll get it eventually.
I gotta know. Mexican food, is that even a thing there?
Yes, and it is
Really?
popular. When we actually now recently in the last few years, a Mexican fast food joint has exploded here. Pretty popular. I forgot the name of the place, but
Mm.
yeah,
I, I once
types
heard
of
some.
flavors meld very well with what Israelis like to eat.
Okay.
We like
Okay.
our Israelis Mediterranean food very spicy. A
Mm.
lot of times very spicy.
Mm.
All those types of flavors as well. They go very hand in hand.
Mm. Okay. I didn't even give it that any thought, but yeah, I guess that makes sense. I've still heard the worst country to get a chimichanga was I think it was Scotland. They're talking about how they used, it looked right, but apparently it had like things like marinara sauce instead of red sauce. Things like saying it was the
Most
worst.
Mexican places here are opened by Mexican Jews usually. So
Okay. Yeah, and of course the proximity to Spain. Yeah, given the nature of Israel, yeah, you probably
you have a lot of
yeah.
Spanish. You have a lot of Spanish Jews
Mm,
here as well. That I love the food. This country is so metropolitan when it comes to food.
mm,
Everything. You get North African food here because of the You get Ethiopian food here. You get my neighbors. Most of my good chunk of my neighbors are Ethiopian. My favorite thing is when I smell their cooking through the hallways.
mm.
Ugh. And then I knock on their door. It's like, "Do you have any spare for our neighbor?" And then they look at me. White boy thinks he can eat spicy food. And I'm like, "Bring it." We don't get Jamaican food out here. That would probably be very hard. I'd have to go out of my way to look for that matrix.
Mm.
That I'd have to go out of my way to find.
And of course, I guess yeah, major cities there. Yeah, it's not all completely rural. Oh, let's see here. What was that? Why would you order chimichanga in Scotland? It's like ordering seafood in Missouri. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I have to thank you for joining us, Lord Kissreek. It's always a pleasure.
Oh, that it's fun to have you around for this. Thanks for being here, man.
Oh, what current challenges? I mean, yeah, what current challenges do you see that you're facing now?
Raising a son, raising a kid right now.
Yeah.
It was a challenge when I had my first kid because that's when the diagnosis of bipolar really. My daughter's 8 years old. I got diagnosed not long before she was born. I was
Mm,
put on benzos at the time to deal with the anxiety attacks, which was another nightmare. I am addicted to pills.
mm,
I developed a very bad pill problem. My daughter being born and my mother passing were the driving force to quit.
mm,
But like it was now is a very hard time. I'm because I have my good days and
yeah.
there are times where I'm gonna have to take care of her. My wife goes back to work. She's done with maternity leave tomorrow. She starts work, and I'm gonna be
Mm,
the one taking care of the kid while she's at work. And it's gonna have its challenges. It's gonna
mm,
be very hard. Again, but what's better than the chance to help raise a kid into this world? It doesn't matter how bad you think the world is,
mm,
but you're bringing a life. You brought a life into it, and you get to raise them in it.
mm.
Look at the smile. How This is the most real smile I've had all night. All of them, my smiles have been real, but look at this.
Mm,
That joy also scares the ever living shit out of me.
mm. Oh yeah.
Because I am going to say this as an addict, even major life changes, even good ones, can
Mm,
can can trigger a relapse, which has been on my mind. So I'm actively fighting that. Of
mm.
course, with also the current climate here,
Oh yeah.
more anxieties on top of that.
Yeah.
But it is what it is, and I honestly wouldn't change it for anything.
Mm. Yeah, and I
I,
was. Oh, go ahead.
I got lucky when I met my wife. I met somebody who can honestly, and I say this with all ways form of the word, handle a bipolar man.
Mm.
And when I say handle, I mean she can handle being around me, and she can handle me like an animal trainer if she needs to. She
Wow.
knows how to deal with me when I'm at my best. She knows how to
Mm.
deal with me when I'm at my worst, and she has seen my worst.
Mm. Was that just intuitive on her part, or did she have to pursue?
As I call her, she is my unicorn.
Mm.
There are very I never begrudged my ex-wife for leaving me and wanting a divorce, and both of us knew it wasn't right. I would never begrudge her. She married somebody that was not diagnosed with. I was diagnosed with standard depression
Mm.
when we met. I was not bipolar. We were not ready
Oh,
for the evolution that came. We were
okay.
not ready for what happened.
Okay.
Never begrudge my ex-wife. Not everyone's built to handle somebody like that.
Wow,
My
that's.
current wife can handle me, and
Mm.
she knows what to do. If I'm breaking down emotionally, like this week is very hard for me. My mother's death day is a week from today.
Mm. Sorry to hear about that. Oh man.
And it become this time of year is very hard for me. And when I
Mm.
break down crying, my wife knows that all she can't when I'm like that, all she does is she'll just drop whatever she's doing, come up and just squeeze me. Even if I don't
Mm.
hug her back, she will wrap her arms around me and just hold me tight. And
Mm.
there are other things she does that just
Mm.
I miss my mom,
Oh, sure. Yeah.
especially because the new kid and everything.
Mm. What is your favorite food there? Since we were on the subject of food.
My favorite food. I like food. Do I have a favorite? Um, no. I like
Mm.
food. If it's good food, I'll eat it. There's very little foods I don't like.
Mm.
I I actually love the fact that organ meat is everywhere in this country. You go to a supermarket, you want organ meat, you can get One of the things I like, Israelis think I'm like Israel. Some Israelis like it, not everyone, but I like lamb heart. Lamb heart steak tastes amazing.
Wow. Okay.
Liver is very popular here.
I would not have expected.
They search a Jerusalem mix when you get a chance, a Jerusalem mixed grill, and
Hmm.
you'll see what goes into one of those sandwiches: liver, spleen, chicken cockle. Oh, but you can make funny looks if you don't have problems with if people don't have problems with gout and you're in Israel.
Hmm.
Get yourself a Jerusalem mix
Hmm.
at least once. It's amazing. It sounds disgusting, and they also hearts, chicken hearts. Also, it's just yummy. It's amazing.
Hmm.
Ah,
So it can be bad for gout.
organ meat is bad for gout.
I did not know that. Okay.
I learned
This.
that from my mom when
Okay.
she developed gout issues when she had cancer,
Hmm.
and the treatments ended up triggering gout reactions in her all the time. For just about anything that can trigger gout, triggered her gout. Anything.
Hmm. Wow. Would you consider bologna to be hot dog pancakes?
Kinda, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I
No,
would, because bologna isn't really decent deli anyway. Isn't a
yeah.
good. Mm,
Yeah. And we,
there are better delis.
and I realize, of course, talking about these organ meats of like, oh my gosh, but yeah, you think about what's in a hot dog. Yeah.
Okay, and then I say this to everyone: get yourself a kosher hot dog, a real
Yeah.
kosher, not Hebrew hot dogs. Find something that has an OU on it,
Mm.
and get a hot dog that has an OU on the package. Trust me, that's a completely different story. When
Mm.
they tell you it's an all beef hot dog, it's good.
Mm.
Is it really great meat? No, because it's still a fucking hot dog. But damn sure better than the non-kosher hot dogs I've eaten in my life when I was younger.
So I guess they do have hot dogs in
Oh yeah,
Israel. Okay.
oh yeah.
What sports do you get much into sports? I mean, aside, of course, from your early, talking about hockey and things like
I
that.
still watch. I still watch my New York Rangers games. I still
Oh,
put on a. I still watch my Yankees games, even living
wow.
here. It's fun when your father has, the packages, so you get to watch the games when he's not watching.
Mm. Is that fairly big in Israel?
Sports are hockey and baseball are not.
Okay.
Football, soccer and basketball are the two most popular sports here.
Okay.
Uh, but I'm always been a hockey and baseball kind of kid growing
Mm.
up. Went to Yankees games and Rangers games, so
Yeah. Of course, there are a lot of stressors in Israel, especially what does that life? What's the reality of living in Israel at this point in time? Do you find?
okay. I was waiting for this one to come up eventually. Um,
If you want to
One,
punt,
I'm
you can punt.
lucky where I live.
Hmm.
It's very centrally located. If I would get a siren, it would be because Jerusalem and Tel Aviv are both being targeted at the same time. It's usually only
Hmm.
when both cities are both being targeted would our sirens also go off because something's fallen short.
Mm.
We've had since it began. We At the beginning, the first day was hard. Yeah, that was hard for everybody.
Mm.
It's reality. I moved here in 2003 when bus bombings were happening,
Mm.
when cafes and restaurants were being blown up.
Mm.
A cafe across the street from my bus stop to Ulpan was no longer there one morning when I went to school. It was blown up that night.
Mm. Wow.
That, but does that happen where I live all the time? It's not common where I live specifically. I'm very, very middle of the country. very
Hmm.
centrally located. So kind of lucky for that. But it is what it is, and I chose to live here when I was younger, and I love this place.
Hmm. What do you think is the worst song you're addicted to?
Ooh, never gonna give you up.
Oh, wow.
I love
Oh.
that song. I love it. That's a good song. I don't care what other people think. I love Rick Astley singing that song. It is just fun.
Hmm.
And now it's playing in my head.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. I just rickrolled myself. That's fine. Oh, now everyone in chat, you can all live with that too.
Do you have any childhood memories that feel like they were a sneak peek into the way you are now, or your lifestyle, or anything? Any for I'm going to call that not foretelling, for not foreboding. What's a word for that? Prophecy, I guess.
What do you mean?
Did you have any childhood experiences that were a foretelling of where you are now that you didn't?
No.
Okay, sure.
None. None whatsoever. Thought I was
Hmm.
gonna, or when I was a little kid, I thought I was gonna, like, live in America most of my life, probably. Maybe move here as an adult after I went, or maybe came here after I finished high school and stay here. That I did not think I was gonna go to high school in Israel. I didn't think I was gonna move here so young.
Hmm. Oh my gosh.
And Jen, I do remember talking with you a few months back in Discord. If
Okay.
me remembering things months ago is sadly, and years and years and years and years and years ago will always be something I do.
Hmm.
Long-term memory never fails me.
Hmm. Interesting. Do you find short-term memories becoming an issue
God
the older
awful.
you get? Okay.
Always has been god awful.
Hmm.
That's also a thing with ADHD. Your memories aren't always stored properly.
Hmm.
Your
Hmm.
brain will sometimes store short-term memories as long-term memories. That's actually how deja vu happens.
Oh,
Your
interesting.
brain, something happens, it gets stored directly as a short term, as a long term, and then at that exact moment as it's being stored and it's happening. So it's like, I've been here before.
Oh. Oh,
At
come
least
on.
that's what I've read once. That's what it's about. I could be wrong. I'm not going to say that's,
I've
but that
never
seems
looked.
about right.
I've never looked that up. But you mean it's not the whole? What do you call that? The nuclear
Glitch in the
collider?
Matrix.
Oh yeah, glitch in the matrix. I forgot about that one. That is so interesting. Wow. What do you think is one thing that somebody could do to make them stand out to you?
Be yourself.
Hmm.
Don't be fake. I read through that and I don't like it, and it makes me want to not talk to someone when they're fake.
Hmm. Need to
I
go?
actually have to pop my Bluetooth out. They are about to die. I need to put in a headset.
Cool. Cool beans. Okay, let's see what we got here. Bowie changed my life. No pun intended. Oh gosh. No pun intended. Of course, that sticks out. Heard his music at the age of 12. Had a mental whiplash. What was that? Yeah, I remember early Bowie. Hmm. Lost my Discord account. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Oh, he's still getting that going. Oh, let's see here. Um. Oh, okay. That's his camera moving. I thought there was something dancing around on my screen. So, anybody have what's the what's the worst song you can think of? Oh, he's still working with sound. Okay. Bowie and Lemmy are God. Let me. Wasn't he with? Oh, come on. Oh, I don't remember. I am not glitching. Okay,
Here we go.
he's
There we
gonna.
go.
Can you adjust your volume up? I got
Uh,
it here. I got it
yeah.
here.
Hell yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Sorry about
Um.
that. Didn't expect
No,
that to happen in the middle of the stream.
crap happens.
Also, tiny little fucking earbuds, you know. They only live
Yeah.
for so fucking long.
one of the one of the questions I asked was, what what do you think is the worst song that pops in your head? The most annoying.
Call Me Maybe.
Okay,
That song was so bad and obnoxious and overplayed. Girlfriend by Avril Lavigne, and then that guy made a song a few years ago that might as well just be a gender reversed version of that song. I can treat Mendez, the song "Treat You Better." It's the same song just for boys. It's like it's like I'm gonna like what the song runs the world, girls. It is the same lyrics over and over and over and over again. Read the lyrics to that song. I forget who sings that song. But it is nerve-wracking, and if you read how many people are credited to writing that song, you're like, the fuck?
Yes, and you compare that with like works like Queen.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah,
Who,
Eddie Mercury.
yeah.
So wow, that's interesting. I wouldn't have expected you to know much about Queen, but
I love Queen. I love classic rock in general.
hmm,
Zeppelin, Queen.
really, Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Wow.
Some of the first songs I learned to play on bass was Led Zeppelin music, then Metallica. Because who's not stupid and a teenager and thinks, I just picked up a bass, I could play Master of Puppets. Yeah, right.
It's amazing how often that happens. What's your favorite mistake that you've made? That one's I can't even.
Oh,
My brain can't even go there.
favorite mistake. I need to think on that one for a little bit. That's got to brew. I'll come up with something, but having no fear in shoplifting as a kid or a teenager. Because I had no fear, and I'd never truly been caught. I got banned from 2 stores, but I'd never been officially caught. They put my picture that I'm not allowed to come into the store, but I was like, why? Do you have any evidence? No, just whenever you're here, something goes missing.
Yeah.
I didn't have, heavy 5-finger discount as a kid.
Do you find that crime is probably? I realize this is going to be heavily subjective. Actually, there's no reason for it to be. I guess we have this thing called the web. Do you find that crime is more frequent in Israel versus the U.S.?
Depends on what type of crime.
Yeah, not
random gun violence. No, everyone. There are guns everywhere in this country. Someone pulls a gun and tries to do something. The odds of them being shot dead is very highly likely.
Yeah.
Or being shot in the legs, because that's what you're taught to do in this country. When you have a handgun, shoot for the legs, or shoot to kill. It's only one of those two. Is there organized crime in this country? Depends on the city you live in.
Really?
Yes.
No, I mean, yeah. I guess we
very large. It does exist here. It really depends on the type of crime, but it's not the same as the States. No, it's definitely not the same. It's different. It's also, Yeah, it is what it is. Every country has crime.
Yeah. We like
And if a
that.
country has a low crime rate, you usually assume they're lying.
Yeah. you still get Do you still have moments where you get culture shock? I mean, is that something you're
No,
probably pretty well over it?
I've
Okay.
lived here for. I literally just finished 21 years of living in this country.
Mm,
Nothing's really a shock to me that happens here. Oh, look, that happened. Okay. We're in Israel. What a surprise.
mm. Rebecca Black. Yeah, the one song that always I'm probably going to tick somebody off, but I have to say it. The song that annoys me the most. I will always love you.
And funniest thing is that's considered one of the hardest songs to sing for
Yeah,
females.
yeah. I mean, it does. It is an example of you know, the
True
dynamic
vocal.
range. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's not like the hamster song, Hamster Dabs, where it's like no skill at all. I mean, it's not even played to the best of my knowledge. It's probably just
Mm-mm.
an old generator on a computer. But
How about this for a hot take? Let It Go is sung by an overrated Broadway singer, in my opinion, Idina Menzel.
mm.
I believe she is overrated.
Oh, ouch! Oh,
Oh no, why would you do that to us?
of course, anybody who's lived through the '70s remembers the screams. I mean, they remember the terror. They remember the yes, people running. Oh my gosh, yes. Is there anything in Israel that you wish? Well, hmm. I guess it's just going to be a mixed bag. Did you? So you finished high school in Israel, right?
Yeah, I finished 12 years of learning, but I went to a graduation ceremony. Did I actually really finish high school? What I did is spend more than maybe a month's or 2 months worth of days in 12th grade, and maybe half of the school year I showed up during 11th grade. Maybe. If you can
Hmm.
consider that finishing, I have the piece of paper that says I did 12 years of learning.
Oh, okay, let's try something a little more esoteric. Nikolai Tesla.
Oh, we started that conversation during our pre-show. God, that man was a true genius. Oh, wanted to give power to the world for free and had a way to do it too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do find it interesting. People either love Edison and hate Tesla, or love Tesla and
You
then,
gotta love it. You gotta love them both, and
mm,
understand that they both did what they did because of
yeah,
the. You also have to. People also, when they look at the past, they're not taking the past as the times that they were in.
yeah,
People forget that when they talk about the past. If you're talking
yeah.
about Tesla and Edison, a lot of Edison's ideas were stolen. He had spies. He tried to spy on Tesla. Tesla was a very close-knit person.
Mm,
He also never wrote much of anything down, which is why most of his shit is lost to the world.
mm,
You got to love them both because we wouldn't have modern technology as we have it without either of them.
true. Yeah, no electricity, no computers.
This shit wouldn't be happening.
Yeah. Do you think Tesla figured out broadcast power? Being able to
Yes,
broadcast oh, interesting.
I do. I think that was always his plan, at
Yeah.
least. He spoke about it, and knowing Tesla speaking about something usually means he already had the idea in his head, and he already had something. He already had schematics in his head on how to do it. It was just a matter of could it be done in the time that. Again, Tesla was trying to probably create shit that could not be made in the time period he was in.
Yeah.
If we had, if Tesla actually had notes, if we had his schematics, what would the
Hmm.
world be like now?
Oh, yeah. What would Tesla do if he had our manufacturing base and our ability to make stuff now? Wow, it's actually kind of
There
scary.
wouldn't be a dark country in the world.
Hmm.
Or he would have been assassinated, most likely. But
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you got a lot of people who stand to lose a lot. Moolah. Yes. Partridge. Oh my.
the monkeys, the
Yes.
monkeys. I have to say the monk. If I had to choose one of those two, it's going to be the monkeys.
John and Les Nessman's mother. I credited Tara with being the inventor of liquid paper, but that honor actually goes to Les Nessman's mother, who was the bassist in quotes, please, for the Monkees. So yeah.
Uh,
Do you find that you're attracted to stories like Nikolai Tesla, in part because?
I have I have an obsession with history.
Hmm.
I like to learn as much as I can. Again, I'm very bored. As I said, I watch a lot of things while doing other things. If my wife isn't home, it's documentaries almost all the time on serial killer documentaries, true crime,
Hmm.
and people like Tesla, people like Edison, the history behind the power station at Niagara Falls.
Hmm.
There are great documentaries just on that.
Wow.
I get into I once I choose a subject, I fall into a deep rabbit hole. I have not found many documentaries about the space race good documentaries that I haven't seen yet.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
the Manhattan Project and
Wow.
its counterparts, I have seen 12 different documentaries just on
Hmm.
the Manhattan Project alone.
Hmm.
Also in the space race, 4 or 5 really good documentaries, World War I documentaries, World War II documentaries, which theoretically are practically one war, just with a little rest in between.
Hmm. Interesting.
One war wouldn't have happened if other war didn't happen.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So true crime. Interesting. Who's your favorite criminal?
Ah, what type of criminal are we talking about? Because if we're talking serial killers, the Zodiac will always be
Didn't expect that.
in my head. If we're
Hmm.
talking serial killers, just because the enigma that he was,
Hmm.
and the fact that he has left the imprint he did on history. It was the modern day Jack the Ripper.
Hmm.
That's if I'm going that direction. If we're going, I like my mafia history and the mob history in America. The
Oh,
different types of mafias. I like those types of documentaries too. I get into that rabbit hole, which is really fun.
from growing up in Jersey, you think?
Probably,
Hmm.
considering the town I grew up in was not too far away from Newark. I wonder why I might like mob history and,
Oh,
being
Marlon.
from North Jersey where, yeah, come on, where the Italian mafia literally controlled the docks of both
Hmm.
New Jersey and New York.
If you could find, if somebody was to make a movie about your life, what actor do you think most fits you? Can you even think of one? I mean, a lot of
The
people.
two, one is dead and the other one's too old to play me. And they're both, and the one that's too old to play me is too tall. The two actors that I think would have fit me perfectly are both very, people don't think about it, but Jim Carrey and Robin Williams.
Mm,
Severe hyperactivity and both bipolar, if I'm correct.
yes, I didn't even. Wow, and that's a question that you can ask people to see, how they view themselves, and
I
um,
think I think Robin could have done a good job playing my crazy very
mm,
well. the hyperactivity that you see him when he's doing a live stand-up, that he used to do his live stand-up shows on stage.
Mhm.
That sporadic behavior. Yeah.
How hyperactive do you think you are throughout the day now versus when you were younger? Are you generally?
I
I
don't
mean,
notice it as much
okay, yeah, and I
because I've
realize.
gotten used to it. It's
Mm,
there. There are days that it's really bad, and I know, like, I'm jumping around the house practically, and yeah.
mm. Do you journal?
Sometimes I have trouble writing. I
Yeah.
have major trouble writing. Do I talk out my problems constantly? Yes.
Oh, okay.
A great thing I do what many geniuses do. I talk to myself out loud
Yeah.
regularly.
Yeah.
If I need expert advice and I know my friends aren't going to pick up the call, yeah, I'll have a conversation with myself to try and work out the problem.
Sure.
What
Yeah.
And
Just
people who say they don't do that, I don't believe them
yeah.
usually.
Yeah.
Everyone talks to themselves. It's when you start having an argument with yourself and losing the argument against yourself, you know there might be an issue. But no, also, if I have an actual issue and I need to talk to someone, I have my wife.
Sure.
Mm, There's, I don't think there's anything. We don't hide shit from each other.
Mm. Yeah. So obviously that relationship has given you stability.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
If I didn't meet her, I don't know where I'd be right now.
Mm.
Don't know what type of person I'd even be right now.
That makes sense. That's interesting. So do you find yourself that with the AD, we see this often with people with ADHD. Only reason I ask, and I don't mean to get personal, super personal. If you don't want to address it, fine.
Shoot.
Um, but do you find that you keep things chaotic as far as
Oh
the
yes.
space?
Yes. Which is
Yeah.
really funny because my OCD tendencies, if I cannot keep it clean, it
Mm-hmm.
will be chaotic. And that's
Mm,
actually an OCD trait.
mm,
There is organization in their chaos. But first of all, anyone with obsessive compulsive always has that one place that's a mess.
mm-hmm.
But if OCD people can't keep control over everything around them,
Mm-hmm.
DB Cooper probably didn't survive that jump, and he probably died and didn't get a chance to spend his money, which is why they found years later chunks of the cash washed up from his crime.
Mm.
So, Matrix, I don't know if that was a perfect crime. And there are also, I saw your comment, by the way, about Zodiac, and there is right now a guy who's pretty damn sure his grandfather is Zodiac or his
Yeah.
uncle.
Interesting.
Yes. He was also one of the cops that was actually one of the people who wrote a lot of, the reports, the police
Mm-hmm.
reports on Zodiac. So, you know,
Mm.
sorry, that just, yay, ADHD time.
Yes. Well, that's sometimes you need to embrace it, not just acknowledge it, but actually embrace it, see where it goes.
Oh,
Huh.
yeah.
I recently decided my relationships was more important than I ever thought. Yes, this was a new way of looking at things for me. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
and that is true. I mean, you give voice to something that's within you. It gives it a different dynamic. It helps you see it. Really, it helps you get it out. Okay, what am I worried about? Yeah, so I know quite a few people that talk to themselves, and usually it tends to be the people who are higher functioning or have higher IQs, I guess, tend to do that a lot. If you could work any job, what do you
Hmm.
think you would go into?
Any job?
If you had like, here's the we'll give you the defense budget for education. You can funnel it towards anything. You can change majors as many times as you want. No cost. What do you think you would try to dig into?
Wow. That's actually something I haven't thought about that in a while.
Hmm.
Damn. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm in the same.
I anything. It'd probably be something extremely practical.
Okay.
Some form of mechanics, probably, to be honest, or electrical work. Something
Oh, okay.
it wouldn't be the most complex thing because I don't have the patience for it. One,
Okay.
two, just lion taming. No, no, I like my face the way it is. I don't need it ripped off. Um, if I could literally had the ability to study and learn anything, what would it be? God. I'd probably become even more obsessed with martial arts, to be honest. But probably, that, if my body would allow me to do such a thing, I would do that.
Okay, so the body's starting to become a limiting factor in that, you find?
Body is a limited factor in that. My doctors have forbade me from getting into hard martial arts ever again.
That's right. You have back injuries, don't you?
Back, I have tendonitis in the rotator cuff
Oh,
and
that's
messed
right.
up knees.
Son of a.
Yeah, chronic
Son of a.
tendonitis in
Oh,
my dominant arm.
oh, man. Anything you do that you find that helps that?
Um,
Ouch.
yeah, it's called pain relief.
Yeah, yeah. That's the way a lot of those injuries tend to be.
There's no way. I fall asleep on my right side. I wake up in excruciating amounts of pain, even if I sleep through it, which I usually don't. If I'm on my arm for more than a half an hour and I'm passed out, I will wake up and have trouble sleeping until the pain goes away. It's just sleeping on the arm, and the tendonitis is dormant. Just sleeping on the arm, it goes, and it flares up, and then I'm done for, like, during the course of the next few days, I'm barely can't lift it too high. I had a surgery when I was 19. I can't rotate. I can, if I do it slowly, I can do a full rotation. I can't swim. I can't get the arm to rotate right.
Oh, was
Like,
that?
yeah, you can learn to swim, but it's just very hard. I also
Yeah.
sink like a rock.
Mm.
I don't have buoyancy, so I go. "Whee." It's actually my friends. When my friends and I used to go swimming, my buddy or another one would bring their new girlfriend or whatever, someone new in the group. They're like, do the thing, show them. They don't believe me. You can't float. They don't believe me. Take a deep breath. Oh look, I sink like a rock. I'm at the bottom of the pool. It's really fun.
Is that from repetitive injury or the surgery that did it, or
The
what?
shoulder is from all of the above. The tendonitis actually started from probably a repetitive injury, and then because of the first time I had tendonitis, they found a shadow on an X-ray, and the bone here, this bone here, had a hole inside the bone that nobody, like, my orthopedist is now the head of the guy who did my orthopedic surgery on my shoulder is now the head of surgery or orthopedic or the head of surgery for Hadassah Hospital. And he was one of the top shoulder specialists in the country and in the world. He had never seen an injury. He had never seen this before. He started showing it to all the other orthopedists. And he's like, we're going to cut your rotator cuff open. We're going to drill a hole. We're going to fill it, and it should heal. Your rotator cuff might never be the same, but it's either that or you take a contact injury one day to there, and then the bone goes, which would have been probably what would have happened if I would have not had the surgery. So yeah, my shoulder has never been the same. I also, if you see, my shoulder is dropped. This shoulder is straight. This is me sitting straight. Shoulder is completely dropped because of the surgery. When they cut into it, tendons loosened a bit. So yeah, My arm has never been the same, and I did the martial arts through all of that growing up, and but reach a certain age and your body's just like, oh, you have this injury already. Let's make it worse.
Oh, I hate that.
Oh, there's pain. You thought there was pain. Now here's the pain. And doing manual labor for 6 years straight at a warehouse kind of wreaks havoc on your back eventually.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's always a bad sign when you're seeing the doctor and they call in the others, hey, check this out. It's kind of like when you're watching the Weather Channel and they're pointing at your location and smiling. It's like, oh crap, I'm in for it.
They're like, and we see over here that this cyclone formation will be coming into the East Coast and wreaking havoc on just about every fucking thing you love. Good fucking luck. Yeah, that's kind of what it feels like.
TTI. I'm now an activist against the TTI. TTI. As I fall session, I'll be a lobbyist for good.
Criminology would probably be something if I had the patience
Oh, yeah.
to say I'd do. Criminology. Always been
I can see
a
that.
minor obsession. Criminal
Yeah.
psychology is lots of fun too.
Sure. Yeah, I can see that. Given your crime scene investigator, detective, lawyer, world explorer, conservationist, photographer. Wow. Buddy. I still don't know what I want to do when I grow up. I'm about to retire in a little bit, but oh my gosh. Yeah, and I still don't know. Troubled teen industry. Okay. So that's main. I guess that'd be main like Nickelodeon. Well, I'm trying not to say it. Yeah. Oh, let's see. Here.
Let's not say things that might upset the big red button. All hail. All hail.
Is there anything that you can think of that I shouldn't ask, or that I should have asked that I didn't?
Yeah, asked most of the things. Yeah, I know. I didn't know what to expect when I came here. I was just like, let's do this. This sounds fun. I'm up for it.
Yeah, it's a lot of times people ask for, we want to see something on YouTube, and that's what we aim to be, is something on YouTube.
That's it. That's what I wanted.
Oh, my 95-year-old mom. Let's see. Still trying to get
Nobody, only kids want to be grown-ups until they're a grown-up, and then they're like, God, I miss being a kid again. I'll take being a teenager a second time sometimes than rather be a grown-up.
Youth really is wasted on the young. It really is. Oh, man.
Yeah, but wisdom is sometimes heavily wasted on the old. Sometimes.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
The youth is wasted on the young a lot, but wisdom of age can very much be wasted on the old.
Do you have any you are something all right. Do you have any major any changes occurring in your life?
Hopefully besides the kid, hopefully gonna start streaming more regularly again. Gonna be getting back into that. Adulting is very hard, Body Illusion. Adulting is very hard.
Yeah, Peter Pan did have it right. Yes. Oh.
I actually just with the wife recently watched Hook, and a quote at the end of the movie, I love the quote he says when Maggie Smith turns to him when he comes back. She's like, "So no more adventures, no more adventures, young boy." And Robin Williams, Peter literally turns to her and is like, "But to live, that's the greatest adventure."
Yeah.
Life wouldn't be worth it if we stayed young. It would be boring and dull. And getting old is part of the adventure.
So where do you stream at? Twitch.
I stream on Twitch.
Any plans to invade YouTube?
Yes, I do have a YouTube channel that I don't use. I had a
Okay.
ton of content there. I was one of those people that took video games way too fucking seriously, even 4 years ago when I did my first few streams. 3 years ago, I was 4 or 5 actually, very angry. I was very angry as a person. I was angrier back then as a person. I deleted every last VOD, every last video I had on my YouTube because I was like the epitome of a toxic gamer. And I did not like that. So, yes, I have a YouTube channel. Have I posted on it recently? No. I haven't streamed to Twitch in a few months. It's been very busy with the new kid.
Yeah, that does kind of. So you do have plans to eventually?
I have plans to get back to streaming very soon. Getting a new computer hopefully soon, and then definitely getting very much into streaming again. I miss gaming. I miss having the interactions with just the few people that I get.
And of course, people can see you on. You're a frequent flyer on Tara's Discord server for her Thursday night meetings here in the U.S. They're at 6 o'clock. If you don't have the address, please, you can go ahead and contact me. I have to look up. It's something I should keep handy, but the invites I always seem to expire. So there's some way to get to the basic server address somewhere. I don't know where.
If you need a place, you need the peer support. That meeting is a place to be. Yeah. I highly recommend it for those who need the support. It is a great place to go and talk.
Oh yeah,
you will be heard, even when you hear Tara being like, "Okay, guys, we've hit the time." You still know that even after that time's up, and some people are dipping and dodging, a lot of us just stay for like we'll stay for 2 hours after that meeting, just talking.
Yeah, it does seem to end. It seems like it's one of those meetings that you're in, and it's like, wow, it's already been an hour, 5 minutes, 10 minutes tops.
Wait, what? Wait, it's over? What? We just started.
Oh, let's see here. Amina has an amazing channel, a Ripple Bin Store. Thank you. Body Illusion. Yeah, so please do keep us advised on how once you get Twitch up and going. I should have put a link.
Leone, I can send you a link so you can. I'll drop a link in here. Okay. Give me a sec.
Yeah, because I was watching you in a group doing the Dead by Daylight thing. That was my first.
I am a very different person streaming. Wow, am I a different person? The things that also come out of my mouth when I am streaming. Oh. Boy, do I do love my DVD. There it is. There it should pop up, and if it doesn't, it doesn't.
Is it in?
Give me a minute.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna actually send it to you to post because I don't think I can post it. And my computer, the laptop that I am here on, versus the computer that I am trying to do this off of, is all the fun.
There we go.
There it is.
Aha, there. Yes. Copy. So glad I had that thing open. And it took me forever to realize.
There are no VODs there for you to see what I am like streaming, but I get very into the game, and I I could turn into a monster. It's like, oh look, you think you're gonna rescue your friend. You have no clue that I'm hiding right behind the corner. I'm a stealth killer. You don't know I'm there, but I'm watching you. I'm watching. Stabby. Ugh.
Yeah, it's the yeah, and I'm still trying to figure out how to get a hold of the. Yeah, I'll have to figure out how to do the server invite for Terra server. I find it every now and again, and I still have not been able to get to it reliably. It's just something I kind of stumble upon every single time I find it. But yeah, if anybody wants to contact me for the Discord server for Terra's meeting, just wait a minute, maybe.
There you go.
Aha! Yes, thank you.
Welcome.
I can never find that. Terra server. She has a Thursday night here in the U.S. 6 p.m. Pacific time, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, 9 Eastern. But yes, so yeah, if anybody wants to see more Aryeh, they can see him there. He's in high demand, so make no promises. You have to book with his agent and everything, and yeah, that's getting past that gatekeeper is pretty hard. But
yeah, gatekeeper called the wife. And a 10-hour time difference between you and me.
Yes, that is. Yeah, that was something that. Yeah, and I agree, Flick Fox. Normal is boring.
If you were normal, I would probably not have a conversation with you. I've actually met normal people in my life, and plain people are boring as fuck. Holy shit. It doesn't matter how smart the plain person is. It doesn't matter. It's just the way I've met normal, and it's just boring. I'm like, so you did this and you did that. What happened next? Oh, that's it. I was like, wait, that's the story. Nothing. Okay, sure, cool, yay, you had a good time.
Oh, any parting shots you wish to have?
Absolutely none. I have actually had so much fun. Holy, this has been a hell of a lot of fun.
Well, thank you. So it was, it was really fun talking to you. I'm glad that we were finally able to get everything matched up. Yeah, the time difference. Wow. Yeah, other side of the world.
It's 9 p.m. right now, and I know this sounds crazy. I feel like it's like 5 hours past my bedtime. But that's also, the fact that I have a 3-month-old in the house. So.
Yes.
What's sleep?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, I certainly do thoughts and prayers to deal with your son, and always for your safety. Yeah, it's wow. There's a lot of stuff going on there, but yeah. Thank you so much for joining. Hey, it was fun.
Yeah.
We'll do this again sometime, especially if we have you have expertise in quite a few things that we do tend to discuss here. So yeah, if we ever get a
I have expertise in nothing. I just pretend.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I just read things and then pretend I know everything about the subject, and apparently I fake it well enough that people believe me.
Oh my gosh, my camera. Oh. I either look like a vampire or a demon, but I never. I haven't
the black shirt with the black shirt with the red tie doesn't really lend itself to that. Lends itself, I mean, perfectly to that motif. So.
I'm trying and then for the red but again, it was an awesome day. And,
Ben's gone robot for a good chunk of that ending and exiting, so we're gonna see if he could try that again.
I'll go ahead and yeah, I'll if you want to wait in the green room, why do they call it a green room? I guess it was originally green. The
Green rooms tended to be green. Yes.
Okay, so yeah, I'll get with you in a second. And thank you again for joining us. Thank you everybody for joining us today. If you like what we do, please hit like and subscribe. And you can't judge a book by its cover or any other cliche you can think of. You mess with the bull, you get the horns. Sorry, I'm not good with cliches. I can't think of anything.
Thank you, everyone, for showing up. It was nice having everyone here.
Bailing me out. I was trying to think of something to say. Brain freeze. All right, you guys take
Don't
care.
forget to like, subscribe, do all that stuff that helps him out.
Thank you all so much. You guys take care. Have a great day.